show. Going on with the show. Come on, baby. On with the show, going on with the show. Come on, baby. Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today, so Motley Crue's new singer Scott Stapp? Question mark? Huh? See, could be. Oh, and I was playing. That was Motley Crue's "On with the Show." So, on my trusty cheap Telecaster. Anywho's it? Motley Crue's new singer Scott Stapp. Who is Scott Stapp? Well, he was the singer of Creed, which I'm not a fan of Creed. Yeah, I'm not. Couldn't they find somebody better? So here's the rumors that Scott Stapp's going to be the new singer of Motley Crue. Industry sources say he's gonna, and usually when they say that's probably right. He's probably going to be the. Are they going to do Creed songs as well? Come on, huh? I hope not. I'm a big Crue fan, so this is let's just break it down. So Motley Crue did a stadium tour. They've been trying to do this for like 3 years, but the world was closed down. People were saying they were the worst band on the stadium tour. They're playing to basically their songs. There's backing tracks going on all over the place. People say Nikki Sixx, the bass player, doesn't even play bass. He's miming. Other industry sources said that Mick Mars, the guitarist, wasn't really playing. It was John Five was playing behind the scenes at the shows. Mick was just kind of miming along. John Five's the new guitarist of Motley Crue. Mick Mars is supposed to be retired because of his health. Now, industry sources say that that's all a bunch of bullshit. So if you recall, like the day before the stadium tour started, Tommy Lee, the drummer, broke like 4 ribs or something. And said he had fell, I fell. Industry sources say that isn't true. What had happened was they were mad at the singer Vince Neil, who had put on weight, and he didn't. I guess there was a clause in their contract that they would lose money if he wasn't in shape. And they said, well, he showed up, puzzle gutted, and so they were teasing about him. Supposedly Tommy Lee was giving him shit, calling him Vince Meal or something like that. Well, Vince went over and stomped a mud hole in him and broke his ribs, and so that's why he had to miss some dates. And they had a drummer come in, whoever that dude is. And so they wanted to replace Vince Neil, the singer. I know it sounds like a soap opera, right? So what happened was Mick Mars, the guitarist, was saying, no, we got to keep the original guys together, this, that, and the other. And in a power move, they want to get rid of both of them. So they got rid of Mick because he wasn't happy about them wanting to get rid of the singer Vince Neil. I know this sounds good, huh? Like, how can you even, does anybody even give a shit? I know. So that's kind of where it stood. And then these industry sources are saying that no, Vince is actually not going to, because they have a European tour that's about to start. The same stadium tour is going to Europe. And it's going to be Scott Stapp, this guy from Creed. And the strange thing is now they're saying like Vince has COVID and but the other thing is his solo band is booked. I don't know if it's the same dates as a European, but he's doing solo gigs, the singer, Vince Neil. It seems like this is true. This whole mess that they're going to have, the new Motley Crue is going to be, they're going to have John Five on guitar and Scott Stapp as the new singer, which just, I'm a Motley Crue fan. Those first 2 albums, Too Fast for Love and Shout the Devil, like really, and I was a kid, I was a teenager. To this day, I love those albums. I was playing On with the Show, when I started this episode, and that's off Too Fast for Love. Great song. It's like, how much money do they need? Do they really have to go through all this? And can't they get along? Can't they all get along? All the stuff they've done, or do they not even? I've heard like they don't even talk to each other. The only time they see each other is on stage, and they have different managers, and it's a shit show. But I mean, you would think they would be a little grateful and like, I mean, again, how much money do they need? Unless they're spending money like, what is their monthly bill? I bet. Like, what's their mortgage? And it's probably a lot. I mean, they're rock stars. They're used to living like rock stars too. So it's going to be tough if you used to live in a certain way, and then you have to, I hope it's all speculate, but I think this is true. I got my first Motley Crue album. It was like they used to have end caps at like Kmart, right? At Kmart used to have a music section, cassettes. It was cassettes, and so it was like 2 for $5. They'd have deals. It was on an end cap, 2 for $5, and they had like 10 bands. And I remember I got an April Wine album, and that Motley Crue Too Fast for Love album. And I was like, oh my God, Then later on, a friend said, man, my brother's got the new Motley Crue album, Shout the Devil, after school. Come and what? It was awesome. We listened to it like 2 times in the beginning. We were. So I was a Motley Crue fan. I started buying Motley Crue, everything, every magazine I could find, posters, wanting to grow my hair, get a tattoo. They were a huge band. How the mighty have fallen. But again, I get that you get older. How they have to be in their 60s, 70s. They probably should have kept it together long enough to get through this European tour, but maybe they couldn't. Maybe that it is a mixture of both resentment and because Mick Mars, the guitarist, has health problems. He's got that spinal, just something where his bones are fused together. He's doing rough. And the footage I've seen from this past summer, the stadium tour, Motley Crue, it wasn't good. I hate to say that because I'm a big Crue fan, but come on, man. It's like you definitely tell they're playing and the singer is just all over the place, and they sounded like a really bad cover band, like in a garage, like not even a professional cover band. It sounded terrible. And playing to, I could tell, I mean, being a musician, that they're playing to like an existing track, not just added tracks. I'm talking about playing along to their songs somehow. And people have been saying for years that Nikki Sixx doesn't play bass. He's just, it's a track. He's just acting like he is. For a long time. I mean, I remember seeing them on Howard Stern, like in '97. They played live in Howard Stern's studio, and I could tell then. I was like, man, he's not playing. That's not. He's just. That's a recorded track. He's just going through the moves. So what would that be? That's like what 25 years he's been doing. Supposedly, Mick Mars, their guitarist, hasn't played on an album in like decades. They've got, DJ Ashba and John 5 and God knows who, which is sad. Mick's like, it's just a crime that he's so underrated, that he's such a good guitar player. Influenced a generation of guitarists. And back in the 80s when they were people would like give him, Mick Mars didn't get love. He tried to play some of that stuff. He's good. He's got his own style too. I love the tone, the guitar tones on Too Fast for Love and Shout the Devil. I just love how the basic recordings. And then after, I was so frustrated with that band when after Shout the Devil, we're all waiting for the next album, and it was like Theater of Pain, and they're all glammed out. Like, what the fuck is this? City Boy Blues, Use It or Lose It. Like these songs, I was like, huh? What happened to all the leather and the it was disappointing. And then so was Girls. People kind of act like, oh yeah, and I saw them twice on that tour. I saw Guns N' Roses open for Motley Crue, and I saw Whitesnake open for Motley Crue. And Whitesnake, I'm not a big Whitesnake fan. Guns N' Roses were awesome. Never heard of them. We drove to Knoxville. I was living in Tennessee at the time. We drove to Knoxville to see him, and the ticket stub said LA Guns. I've got the ticket stub somewhere. It's supposed to be LA Guns. We thought who's LA Guns? And there was Guns N' Roses. And they literally they smoked Motley Crue. I hate to admit this, but they blew them off the stage. Um, awesome. I didn't know who they were. I was like, these guys are amazing. This is what, huh? And then by Dr. Feelgood, I was already in bands, and I was like, oh my God, come on. Like, and the guitar tones on both Theater of Pain and Girls, Girls, Girls are just, I read somewhere he used like this studio amp, like these little Galen Kruger guitar amps that were hot at the time. You know, he wasn't using his Marshalls or, pardon me. I used to own a Mick Mars guitar. I wish I wouldn't have sold it. Supposedly it was the one in the Same Old Situation video. It was actually a Spectre Telecaster. And I found it deep in the valley, like a freaking Reseda or somewhere, in a pawn shop. And I used to go to hit pawn shops and stuff. And I went in there, and there's all this. I almost got to buy a Girls, Girls, Girls Kramer Telecaster. It was white with the Girls, Girls, Girls 3 times on the front. In the back, it was like a breasts, like naked breasts in the back. But the guy wanted like $2,000, and there was a bunch of Mick Mars stuff. But he gave me. I got that Spectre Telecaster for $250. Like, what? And he's like, yeah, it was using the Same Old Situation video, and Vince is playing it actually, though, the singer. But it was Mick Mars's. And then I sold that. I think I sold it to somebody in Texas. I can't remember. But I'm a fan. It's not like I'm trying to, you know. I love Motley Crue. I know a bunch of their tunes. I was just playing on with the show. I mean, I know my Too Fast for Love. I love da 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 da. I should have played that. But anyway, comment below. What do you think? Do you think this is really a thing? Do you think that Motley Crue is gonna kick out the singer and then get Scott Stapp? Again, I'm not a fan of that whole singing style that Scott Stapp does. As a singer, I was a singer. That's the lowest hanging fruit. That's the easiest way to sing, is just like kind of droning. That's why I didn't get a lot of those bands in the 90s. It just drove me crazy. No, make it stop. Do you think this is just because a few months back it was industry insiders saying that John 5 was going to take over for Mick Mars, and it was like, oh no, and that came true. So now this story about Vince Neil not being in the band, they're going to have Scott Stapp. Are they rehearsing with Scott Stapp? Are they like, bro, this is awesome now, we're back again? You know, I mean, what? Could be, perhaps they are. No one's saying. You can go to like the Classic Metal Show, and what's the other? That's you can get some more info on this. But comment, what do you think? Are you a Motley Crue fan? Do you think that they've lost their minds and Motley Crue 2.0 maybe with Scott Stapp? Wouldn't that be now? See, their management, Motley Crue's management, is the same as Scott Stapp's management, and that's the thing behind this. These man, see, that's you'd think they could find someone better than Scott Stapp. But hey, the manager's like, hey, look, I own you both, so might as well, peanut butter and jelly or whatever, that sounds like an industry thing to do. Like, see, the people behind the scenes in music are these managements and agents and this and that booking. They're not musicians, most of them. And they don't know what's cool. Usually they're not even fans of music. They're just money people. It could be a washing machine. They don't give a damn. They just, and they're told what to do. These bands are told what to do. You sign a contract and it's not pretty. But you would think they'd have enough to retire. You'd think that they're Motley Crue. Don't they have income? Are they generating income? They own their master tapes. They're one of the only band that owns the master tapes. Nikki Sixx just sold his publishing this past a couple months back for a lot of money. Then why would he need to be, farting around trying to do Motley Crue 2.0 with Scott Stapp? Again, this is my humble opinion, speculation. It's a rumor, assumption. I don't know. I don't have like an insider in LA to tell me. I know. But I think that something's up. They're gonna announce this, and it would make Vince got COVID, so yeah, we're just gonna have Scott Stapp step in. You know, it went so well that we're gonna. I mean, what could that have any foresight? Like what's after the European tour? See that the stadium tour in America didn't do as well as people thought. There's like half empty stadiums. Again, it was the consensus was Motley Crue was the worst band on that tour. They were just I watched some of those clips, man. Again, I love Motley Crue. I'm not trying to, this is tough love though. I mean, I'm a fan. I used to be an Uber fan. And they're one of my favorite LA bands. I mean, they did a lot, but sometimes it's time to put a fork in it, man. Like, come on, like, aren't your albums? They have a catalog of, again, he sold his publishing for a big lump sum. Everybody's doing that now. These companies are buying up everybody's publishing for like a lot of money. Everybody's done it and or doing it. That's kind of strange too. Why is everybody all of a sudden selling their publishing? Maybe because they need the income. Maybe that third mansion on the hill. Oh my God, I shouldn't have bought all those Clydesdales. Something that people, rock stars do stupid stuff, and they probably have like ex-wives and a team of people working for them. Like if you've got some big mansion, you've got like gardeners and maids and assistants, and they probably have to, I would say minimum, any of those dudes in Motley Crue are spending about $50,000 to $100,000 a month on mortgages and car payment and whatever it is, that's a minimum. They're probably more than that. You'd think they would bring it down a notch. You would think that they'd be like, well, let me kind of get rid of my 10th Ferrari or whatever, how much money do you need? I've never had that kind of money, so maybe I don't know. But are they just used to like, no, I'm gonna get it. I need, maybe. Again, comment below. Also, please like, share, and subscribe if you want to support the channel. The information's in the description for Cash App. My handle is charliegreerpodcast, and Zelle. It's my email. All that's in the description. All that information. I'd appreciate it. I have a sneaky suspicion that this is true. I have a feeling that, they did get Scott Stapp. They're probably rehearsing with him right now. Are they going to do Creed song? Is that going to, arms wide open? Are they going to be, is he too going to be, are they going to be doing the backing tracks? Well, watch the stadium tour. You can see they're using backing tracks. They have for a long time. And quite honestly, the first time I saw Motley Crue live on the Girls tour, I was shocked that they were good, but they sounded nothing like the album, man. I was like, what is this? And I'd heard rumors like, oh man, they're live. They're totally different than what you would think, because I'd never seen a band that sounded so different than, and it was disappointing. Also, that album, Girls. I remember we went the day it came out. We drove and got it. And we're like, what is this? Because people had complained about the Theater of Pain album with they went glam and this, we're back to, and I remember we listened to it and we listened to it again. We're like, do we even like this? Like, no, was the, but we love Motley Crue. So it's like, fine, we're going to go. Got tickets when the tour came. Again, we saw them in Nashville, but the first time we actually drove to Knoxville, which was like, I don't know how many, it took a while. And we were like 16, I think it was, following Motley Crue across Tennessee, basically. But we had a good time. Again, Guns N' Roses just smoked them. I didn't know who these were. Again, the ticket said LA Guns. Our ticket stub said that. Like, LA Guns, who's that? And then there were Guns N' Roses from LA. We're like, Guns N' Roses. Awesome. And then after Guns N' Roses was left the stage, Slash came back out. I didn't know who Slash was. And he had like a handle of Jack Daniels. He was like, hey, I designed this t-shirt. We're selling them out there. Buy the t-shirt. I drew it myself, which we did. He immediately went and bought that Guns N' Roses album like the next day, Appetite for Destruction, which is a great album. I was like, my God, this album's so good. Again, not the album, the cassettes. See, back in the I was buying cassettes. Turntables were, I don't know. CDs hadn't really popped off yet. They were around, I guess, but not, it was all cassettes. You go into a record store, it was just cassettes. The first music I ever released on my own or in a band was a cassette. Then I had a CD. I've never had any of my music on a album, like a vinyl. I've never had, it was always cassettes and CDs. My last album was a CD. I've never had album or vinyl, whatever. But comment below, do you think this is just a rumor? Do you think that like Scott Stapp's going to be like the Motley Crue singer? Do you think that John 5 was really behind the curtain there playing Mick Mars's licks while he mimed the guitar? It's kind of like, because I see the footage, I was like, man, it didn't seem like he's playing. He was just off a bit. Same thing with Nicky. Same thing with even Tommy. It's like you could hear drums behind his drums. He used to be an amazing drummer. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe it's age. I mean, I get it. We get old. It just seems like something's fishy. Too much backing tracks. This is too much. I get you want to be able to, enhance the live experience. I get that. I've never played to a backing track. Anytime I played, I've never had, I wouldn't. I played 3-chord rock and roll. Even in Love Engineer, we were more kind of like technical. We didn't have any backing track. And you can tell the difference. You can tell it's loud, but there's no like power to it. A live band with amps and percussion, you can feel it. Again, comment below. What do you think? Do you think this is going to really happen? Perhaps, maybe. Could be. I think so. I think that they are about to announce, he's the singer's sick, so now we got this new singer, Scott Stapp, and boy, after the tour, man, he's so good. We got this. Are they going to record an album with this guy? Do they have any foresight? Are they going to be, this European tour? Seems like European fans are more finicky too. They don't put up with they'll, so who? It's Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison. I don't even think Poison. I think it's just the Motley Crue and Def Leppard stadium tour in Europe. I don't think Poison's on it. Maybe they are. It was Joan Jett, Poison, Motley Crue, Def Leppard this summer stadium tour. And from all reports and everything I've seen, Poison smoked everybody. And the footage that I saw, they seemed like the best, tightest band. And they seemed like they were actually having fun. And looking at each other and smiling and stuff. If you watch Motley Crue, they'll go by each other and turn their heads away from each other. Like I don't know. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? I think there's something to this. I think that Scott Stapp will step in. Maybe not. I mean, again, this is just speculation, a humble opinion, if you will. But yeah, I kind of have a feeling. Usually these industry insiders are spot on. And again, check out Classic Metal Show. They get a lot of info that usually comes out true. I guess the insiders like that. But everybody talks behind the scenes. And you can't keep, especially with the internet and phones and this, that, and email, it's message boards, and it's hard to keep a secret. But you know what? I wish them all the luck at, hey, go, maybe it would be awesome. I'm not going. I mean, hell, it's going to be in Europe. But it's yeah. But I wish them well. I hope they're doing good. I love Motley Crue. I love all kinds of music. Motley Crue is one of the bands I like. Not necessarily, again, those first 2 albums are dear to me. Had a lot of fun, So again, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Do what you got to do. If you want to support the channel, the information is in the description for Cash App, which is Charlie Greer Podcast, and then Zelle, which is my email. The email's in the description. And Yeah, what do you think? Comment below. I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.